Right. Just make sure you can see me and hear me and all that stuff. Put the volume up. This'll get copyright claimed, won't it? If there's Star Trek music in it. Oh, stop saying waiting for me. We're live. We are honest. There we go. Yes. That's just me. Right. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to part 1 of my Star Trek Resurgence playthrough on the PS5. I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I think it's one of these, like a telltale game, you know, where they have to make choices and stuff. So we'll see anyway. Right, so let's check the settings, make sure everything's okay. We've got subtitles on. I'll put subtitles on. Right. Aim sensitivity. So is there going to be some combat in it? Well, mate. Anyway, whatever. Right, let's get on with it, shall we? It was choices. Dive deep into your choices. Go to our website. How bizarre. How big are these? Oh, like that. Right. Anyway, cool. I'm just looking at the screen. We're obviously in at warp. Proper warp, or nearly proper warp. I don't know where all that lightning is. Going past some sort of nebula. TNG settings, a tricorder there on the desk, and some sort of crystal. I don't know what that is. And pads. Cool. Off we go. Empty slot. Begin. Hope it's not crap. Because I've got my Star Trek cap on. This is a Dramatic Labs adventure. Release. Oh, whatever. I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. Live long and prosper. Wow, asteroids. From Dramatic Labs. A shuttle pod. Some sort of shuttle pod.
Log, Stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission.
It's a normal shuttle, isn't it? Why has it got like a docking ring at the back?
Ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them.
They just have a door at the back, don't they? Not a docking ring.
Nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Ryder. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Don't ask me what she is. Sure they'll tell us. Wow. Shields are holding. I hope. Oh, she's a commander. Crikey.
Thanks.
Cool scene.
No problem.
Ensign.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
You don't like flying. And yet, you joined Starfleet.
There's a reason I'm not a pilot.
You should try it sometime.
Ugly bloody character.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
It's an ion storm.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
There she is.
won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour.
It's a Miranda class or
She's
whatever.
half the officer I knew she could become when she
Well, that
was
is.
a cadet at
What else we got?
Starfleet Academy. She'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
There's an Excelsior class, and I'm not sure what that one is up there. That there, I don't know what that one is. Is it a Nova class down there, like the Titan? There, down there. Based upon Star Trek. I like what they say based upon. It means they're paying attention. That's a Nova class, which is that one, can't tell. Windgrace are like this. I think he's in bed at the minute because it's early there. Where the Windgrace is. I'm kind of giddy already. Already it's more Star Trek than Kurtzman Trek. Right, use L to move. Right, I'm moving. Oh, I can look round as well. Cool, I thought it was going to be a series of cutscenes with choices to be made, but it's actually we can do things. Cool. What's that?
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space.
Just
Long way
like
from
Deep
home
Space
now.
Nine. Let's have a look out of the window. There's the shuttle. That's why it's got a docking ring. Because it docked like that. Don't they have a shuttle bay? It's a star base, crying out loud. Most peculiar.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've
I'm
heard
sure
of the
you did.
Torvalin test?
Edson.
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5.
I doubt that very
Anyway,
much.
I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the academy.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
But don't get ahead of yourself, Ensign.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds.
Right. What do I do? All right. What do I press? Oh, R2. Right. She's got some sort of ring on her index finger.
Welcome, Commander
Cobliad.
Radek.
Wait, you're
Oh, she's
Jara
part
Rydick?
human. She's part
You
human.
absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really...
Girl
It's
boss.
an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before.
The pleasure's mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
See why he's working on reception, the fella over there. Don't look young, but yet he's still an ensign. Must be like Picard in Tapestry. Never amounted to much. Can I do anything with this? No. What we're looking at here. Telling me where the elevator is. I am there.
Commander.
Hello. Oh, more things to look at. Repair status on the Resolute there. Oh right, NCC 92. What class is the Resolute then? Is she a Miranda class? We will see, I suppose. And there's the station. It's kind of a what do they call it? Regular type. It's like we see in Star the motion picture, innit? That became regular. Why does it keep showing us the Resolute? Yeah, it is Miranda class, isn't it? Or is it like an updated version? Does it tell us? Anyway, we'll see. Well, maybe a Miranda refit, something, I don't know. I can't zoom in on it, can I? What was no rush. Because I'm checking things out. Cool. You know what I wish they'd do? A remaster of Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
So I'm looking
I
for
wish they'd do
someone
a
with thick
remaster
skin.
of that. Because I loved that game. Right, okay, where am I going? Oh, over there. Good evening, everybody. Don't mind me. Oh, look, there's other stuff to do, but I can check this.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
Right, okay.
Excuse me, have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board.
Okay. My man just walking
Excuse
through.
me.
Ah, there he is, yes.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now.
It was a bit bumpy, but otherwise okay.
My apologies. This storm is unlike anything I've seen before. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice.
Oh, why did you say it like that?
Everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're
What
lucky
happened to
you
the
were
previous
available to
one?
us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer, Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky.
There she is. Not a Miranda class, is it? No.
The USS Resolute.
Well,
She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed.
so,
We thought we
bet
could
we'll be
reach a
doing that
higher
again
resonance
during the
frequency,
game. Because we've got to go super
but it was
duper fast a
more than
bit.
she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other.
To have lost so many lives. That's a high price to pay.
Too high by any estimation. But there's nothing that can be done about it now except get back to work. And make sure it never happens again. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time. And I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake. That he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first.
Trust is earned, and it sounds like I have my work cut out for me. But I plan on winning them over.
I don't doubt that. I just figured it was better to know what you're walking into.
Of course.
Starfleet has assigned us a
This,
high-priority mission to the hotel.
the more impact of your choices, right. Jada made a good first impression with Commander Ermot, coming off as a shrewd and inquisitive, while showing empathy for what the crew of the Resolute suffered. Ensign Calloway was grateful for Jara's sense of humour when he was nervous on the shuttle. Oh, right, cool.
Free region. I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention.
So is it docked or we're going to have to
The
beam
crew has
over?
been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Crewman.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
Find the plasma torch. That looks like. Oh, is that a plasma torch? Is that a plasma torch? Yes, it is. Yeah. Dramatic music in it for like people going about mundane tasks. I think that needs cleaning up or replacing. Right stick plus R2.
Is that?
See, they're proper shuttles, look. No, oh, the lower decks. Windgrace, the lower decks, but you're not watching because you're in bed asleep.
I thought the thing was totally fried.
The Trill.
Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
Follow Edsela to engineer. It's either the Trill or the There's no rush, there's no rush. We're walking round a starship. Music's kind of annoying. Can I adjust it? Mate, I'm just the wrong button now. Settings, music volume. Let's lower the music volume a bit. I mean, it's fine, but has that made any difference? Oh, that's better. Load it a bit, hasn't it? Not much.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
That's Starfleet.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Edsela, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsela on repeated occasions.
Well, Commander Chovak, isn't it true that if we were almost late, it categorically means that we were not late?
That is correct, Mr. Diaz.
I mean, if anything, Edsela and I are following the schedule to the letter.
Yes, perhaps I should adjust the schedule accordingly.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us. You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready.
Aye, aye,
Best chief
skipper.
engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak. All hands on deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it.
You gotta have some faith, Nilly. Starfleet Command wouldn't send us out if we weren't ready.
6 months ago, I probably would have said the same thing. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
We're heading out onto the hull. Gyung, gyung.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa!
Good to go. See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Where are we? Where's me, what's there? I couldn't see my little dot. Dunk, dunk. Got to keep going. Dunk, dunk, dunk. See, that's a Miranda class over there, isn't it? Yes.
That view never gets old.
Let's go.
I wonder when we're going to get the title, you know, the opening credits. Is that a steam runner class back there? I don't know. I'm not au fait with quite a lot of the Starfleet ships. It's that stuff we've seen in First Contact and things like that.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily.
Ah, okay. Is that it? Don't do anything. No, right.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleons. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of Duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Like a ring hologram.
Feel free to
Not
make yourself
sure if I like that.
and help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Do I do anything? Oh, pardon me. All right, I can look round now. There's some sort of geode. Oh, right.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered. Always was the nostalgic type.
You talking to yourself?
Can't wait to plot a course myself.
Can't expect that statue. What else have we got to look at? Nothing there. Right, we've got the replicator.
Just a sip of something. Tea.
What sort of tea? Earl Grey? English breakfast tea? PG tips? Yorkshire tea? I hope that's what it is. She's got a mug of Yorkshire tea. But that would have transported. Oh, whatever.
Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happy.
I suspect he'll die soon. I've just got this feeling.
We couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship.
I didn't mean to press that.
Deserves a bit of fanfare.
I have to admit, I was expecting something bigger. At least a marching band or a parade.
We'll see if we can't make up for it somehow.
I was being self-deprecating.
I'm sure you've heard. We've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained. Probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed.
At warp, you know, as opposed to like transwarp or slipstream, etc.
Within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship could handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility.
Yes, the book stops with you.
And I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO. And I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
This is your ship, and you are the captain. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever you say, goes.
That's the kind of support I'm looking for. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
positive note. Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly.
You
Very nearly in
betcha.
the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater.
But are we prepared to embark on the mission?
As much as I'd like to think that's true, I have my doubts. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come. Let me introduce you to the crew.
Why is that? Right, hang on. Confused by Jara's combination of both an odd sense of humour and humility. All right. Oh, dear. Oh, it's a bridge window. At least I think it is.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
A Bajoran.
What he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
Beta Z.
I've been following your career for
Betazoid,
quite
me.
some time. And I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me.
I don't know what
Press
to say.
triangle then.
That's incredibly flattering, thank you.
I hope someday I can follow in your footsteps.
I'm sure you will.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
You have the con, Commander. Sit in the captain's chair when ready. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready now. Battle stations.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm.
Right,
We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
That storm's gonna do something. Pete, told you, storm surge.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get that in
Me. Right, come on, let's get on with it then. What I was supposed to do. Joom, 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 joom.
Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all.
Yeah, of course I do. Starfleet's an open door. We just have to walk through it. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Right, what do I need?
Beginning recalibration.
Align the SIF. Turn nodes, tune nodes to center the circular indicators. Right, so, what do I do?
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
What am I supposed to do?
Light touch, Carter.
Oh, we've done it. Right.
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive.
Oh, grumpy old curmudgeon.
Yes, I am the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
What a very impressive list of credentials.
This is a research and discovery ship, first and foremost. Now with a former tactical officer as its new first officer. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for first officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario.
Captain Solano's familiar with my condition. I'm sure it factored into his decision. So I'd have to say it's not a problem.
But we should probably have a contingency plan just in case. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew. And he was one of my closest friends.
Mr. Westbrook, if you have some kind of problem with me, and you just met me so it has nothing to do with me, you're gonna have to figure out how to get over it. Because I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. I'll stick to science. That is what this ship is for.
Very well.
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into. It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy. Like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities all over the ship.
Estimated time to impact.
Red alert.
Aye.
Captain to the bridge, etc. Always on the station, isn't it?
Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can
We'll go with the woman
only
because
half
it's
towards the
woke
wave.
and all that, you know, so we'll go with
You
the...
have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
Bedrosian, get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We've only got one shot.
Understood. On my command.
Heading locked.
Raise shields.
This is it.
All hands, brace for impact.
At the stage? Is that going to be bad?
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
It can blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
Okie dokie.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Oh, God.
DS to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Oh my god. Trying to do a quick phaser, use L2 to aim and R2 to fire. Cool! I phasered it.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
Use your phaser to clear a path. None of them coming.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Suit took most of it. Snuck up on me.
That damaged your suit. Energy damping is 50%. We're almost to the regulator.
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral.
Nah, what? Come on, what are you telling us to do? I don't know what to do. What am I doing? I'm supposed to just line them all up. No, not that one. No, not that one. That one. No. I've no idea.
EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, choke up. Get down! DS to bridge. We just lost the docking clamp.
I thought you were undocked. I thought they'd undocked.
Got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations.
They must have
too.
gone back.
We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped
How could they
apart.
put the shields up while they're
There's a
docked?
problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working.
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
All right, Starbase, we're on it.
Acknowledged.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order.
All due respect, sir, it's a more complex situation than when you
Jara,
disembarked.
I need you to do the right thing. We can't have this go sideways before we even leave for the mission.
The captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
Starbase, stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Yes, Commander.
Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull polarity to free us from the remaining docking clamp. Tether yourself and deactivate your boots on my mark.
Understood.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark!
Grab my hand! I got you.
Thank you.
Plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
What to do? Oh, let's see. Yeah, go. Got confused what to press then.
I got you. Petty Officer Edselar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edselar there to access the interior.
Roger that. Go in there now.
Is she a JJ Trek Trill? I've no idea. I don't know what a JJ Trek Trill is.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
Come on then, get on with it.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this. Get in there!
You better be right behind me.
Oh, my chat's not appearing. Chat. That's not appearing because it's stupid. And the bog comes and carries you away. Okay.
They're safe. Bringing the SIF fully online.
Do it.
Safe. Just call the structure of the integrity field. It's started, for God's sake.
Carter!
I'm okay. But it's a lot.
Here, let me help you.
Well. Get to sick bay.
We've got one wounded at my location. Millie.
Oh man.
Emergency transport to sick bay. You know. TNG. Whatever. Revenge of the Sith.
We'll see you at sick bay.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermot?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
You disobeyed my orders, Commander. Yes, but 99's a good age.
You disobeyed my orders. Well?
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information I had.
You disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility?
November.
On this
It
ship?
were 100 in November, it would have been.
From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order. But you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to, you did what you had to.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.
Dun, 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 dun.
All departments reporting full mission readiness. We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibilities.
Always choose the lesser of two evils. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Master and
Don't
Commander.
let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sid.
Master and Commander, one of the best Star Trek films not in space.
You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
Them seats don't look comfy. Benches. Where's all the ships gone? But that's all.
That should do it. Set a course
Bridge
for the
window,
target
for Christ's sake.
Prepare to go to warp 8.
Aye, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me?
I want the ship to go. Now.
Engage.
Simple, but effective.
Easy. Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
Does she need to go have some Geridium or whatever the hell it is
so
you need?
good.
No, not Let's Fly.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside.
Good job. We want a mission critical moment, as the science officer said earlier on.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on her, but she'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself.
Yes, like I said, whoever wrote this obviously doesn't know about emergency transport.
This was definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
Twice they should have used it,
My name
really.
is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're
rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the Duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
It does make me unique, but it's not a burden at all. I'm honored to be Kobliad, to represent my people.
As you should be.
We girl bosses have got to stick together.
Science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake.
She's going to end up being the captain, isn't
The
she?
accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career. The breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on.
I think after what happened, Captain Solano's learned his lesson. And whatever ambition he once had is on hold for a while.
He may say that, but we'll see what happens. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship, and everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
You'd think they'd have something that they could just put on there that keeps it topped up. You'd think, wouldn't you? You know, like a nicotine patch, a Duridium patch or something to keep it topped up. Anyway.
We were all pretty worried on the bridge. No one knew what was happening.
I don't want anyone to worry. This is just part of who I am. It doesn't define me.
Of course. I completely understand. And I would probably feel the same way if I were you. You trusted me earlier with the shield.
Just saying, she's
and I appreciate
her. She's an ugly bugger, isn't she? Like an insulin pump. Oh, yes, or something. But, you know, it's the I don't know when this is set. Late 24th century. TNG era-ish. Started with 5.2 something, so that's round about late Voyager.
Complete the diagnostic sequence and the shuttle will be cleared for service.
Yes, sir.
Storm in the Hotari region will interfere with our transporters, so we need all available shuttlecraft in working order.
Excuse me, Commander Chobot.
Petty Officer Maris, I will leave you to your work.
Keeps calling petty officer, why just call him crewman? They usually do, don't they?
I figured you'd want to know.
Did the doc get her fixed up?
She's stable. There's something about the storm's radiation that's making it hard to heal the energy burns.
That doesn't sound good.
She's toughing it out.
Background noise.
Back on duty soon, though.
Come on. I have to run the final diagnostic.
The Melville, because this episode's called A Tall Ship, something like that. Give me a tall ship and a starter guide. Me.
And things are piling on faster than I can check them off.
Melville, John Masefield.
We're making all our last-minute checks and security too.
Well, nothing's ever 100%.
Yes, lower decks.
But we'll be good to go.
And if you wait until you are ready, it's probably too late.
The lowest of decks.
I didn't want to wait for just the right time. I had a chance to think about this while I was away. Then you and Nilly almost got killed out on the hull. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
Miranda, is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Maybe even better than fine. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore.
My back's hurting. I've washed my car today, now my back's killing me.
Than just being friends.
Ooh.
You don't have to explain it. I feel the same way. There is something between us.
So, do you
romance?
Something is? If it's there for you, and it's there for me,
we don't have to put too much pressure on it. Let's just see where this goes.
I like that. Definitely felt some pressure coming down to see you.
These are
green, yay!
I'd call it a chemistry experiment. You know, with us.
We can take it slow. It's not a 5-year mission or anything, but we've got plenty of time together.
Well, let's not drag our feet on it.
Oh, give her the kiss, for God's sake.
I have to get back to that to-do list. They're probably looking for me.
Can't blame them.
I'll be seeing you.
Yes, we'll be replicating some prophylactics. Oh, stop being a curmudgeon sci-fi quest. Let people have romances.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types. I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
Transporter array.
Won't get a
Beam out.
transporter lock.
Oh, no.
It's just not happening.
Right.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
No, I think it's just a regular
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
TNG shuttle, I think.
Yes, sir.
Don't ask me the type, I can never remember. Oh, I don't know, that might be. It might be a Discovery shuttle, yeah, you might be right. I don't know, I'm not sure. It's like
First
a
thing,
mix.
lock
Like a
onto
mix.
the
isn't it?
shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
I've got to do something. Oh, yes, I have. Oh, it's from the Excelsior. The Grayson.
We're pulling in debris.
Amanda. What we got to do? What we got to do? Use the tractor beam to deflect the asteroids. Right.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
That's just my else. What do I do? Oh, right.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
How big's this ion storm? Is it like light years across? Am I doing stuff still? Oh, I am, right. Stop cheering. I started Discovery. I don't think it is a Discovery shuttle. I think I've seen them in TNG. Win Grayson, no.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our
Probably
way
still
down to
in
meet
bed.
them.
Is this where we meet Spock? It is!
Terra firma.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock. The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here. Should we engage in small talk?
Well, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer...
Carter? Carter Diaz, sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad we could get you here in one piece.
Indeed. We thought we were prepared
Spock
for
likes me.
Atari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal
I
at
don't
warp
know, I can't
speed,
remember.
only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible.
Well, onboard diagnostics can be wrong. I can take a closer look at your shuttle systems to get to the bottom of it.
I would appreciate that.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz. Thank you.
Ambassador Spock,
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
So they're at warp, travelling through an ion storm that's God knows how big.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour.
I like the holograms in this.
Illydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there. The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover during these negotiations. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Illydian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hatari, something is better than nothing.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hatari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Illidians or the Hatari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illidians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
We could use that as leverage with the Illidians. They'll want the Federation to continue buying from them.
There might be something to that, Commander.
Putting that on the table could make the Hotari more hostile.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Illidium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
And we'll take advantage of that as long as it works in our favor.
And when it doesn't?
All the more reason to learn as much about it as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught unprepared, should the energy anomaly continue to fluctuate. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions.
What?
Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly knows how to say the right things. At least when she wants to.
With all due respect, Ambassador, I'm not a trained diplomat.
That's exactly what we're going to leverage.
I began my time in Starfleet as a science officer, not as an ambassador. We must be adaptable in the line of duty.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
To be continued. Dee 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 diddly dee 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 diddly dee diddly bum. Are they Andor? I know they're not. How are we doing anyway? How are we doing? Commander Cho did not approve of Jara's unwillingness to follow protocol. Anything is whatever. Dr. Duval understood Jara's loyalty to her captain. Blah 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 blah. Spock noticed and distinct perspective on the whatever.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
When you look at it logically, yes, it is just a shuttle. No different than any of the others.
There is plenty that is different about it, and that is what you are to investigate. But please limit your findings to observable scientific phenomena.
We'll try to restrain ourselves.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
One nice thing about Vulcans, Chovok is the only person who didn't look at this and treat me like I was something to pity. Doc says I should get used to it.
Hey, you won't get pity from me. I think it makes you look tough. As tough as you really are, that is.
And that makes you sound pretty smart. I might need you to save me from myself next time, though. Come on. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Got to do something. Oh, they were diagnostics. Look there. Oh.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
Oh yeah, we're shagging now, yeah.
Right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do.
Oh, my back. Ow.
I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something. Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Well, let's find out, shall we? Warp field inversion.
Inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
Warp cascade failure.
Warp cascade failure?
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation. Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
Right, Tricord can record and analyse data. Looking through it will reveal the unseen. Very Star Trek thing, isn't it? Use square to equip or holster your tricorder. Hold R2 to scan glowing objects. You must be close to some objects to scan them. Watch the frame of the screen to see if you are too far away. Right. What objects you scan will activate a deep scan. During a deep scan, use L1 and R1 to switch between the different... I'm getting confused now. Search for glowing objects. The mode indicators on the tricorder will blink if there's an object to find in that mode. See, I'd be a rubbish Starfleet officer. Getting complicated already. When you have scanned all objects, the frame will change colour. Hold L2 to analyse the data and finish the scan. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm looking for a crack hammer. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. In their standby state, warp cores produce residual electromagnetic field, no deviations detected. Right. Is that it then? How do I get out of it? Have I got to do something else? I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Routine maintenance to repair micro-abrasion from neutrinos. Alright, so I've got to do this, go through each different thing. I can't be, can I? Can't have anything to do with that, can I? There's nothing there. 2 or 3 anomalies detected. Center coils guide the warp field through its focal event, maintaining a collimated thrust vector. No fractures detected, whatever I suppose. Alright then. Well, how do I get out of it? I don't know what to do. So press L1. Oh, what's this? Have I done that? I've done that. It says all anomalies scanned. How do I get out of this? Oh.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team. I'm not here.
Googly eyes.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
Now that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
Shiny hair, aren't they?
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind.
Do me a favor. Come back safe.
Deal. Be seeing you.
Lower decks dalliance.
Etzelarda Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't...
We only checked one nacelle. What about the other one?
Stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You want to take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and the cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What
Is it a fracture in subspace?
When the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
No, not at warp.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is Tylos Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours. And this
Honor
is
is
Commander
ours.
Jara
Is it Sean Connery doing
First
Spock?
officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illydians.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen.
Just ask the
But
Dominion.
either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
Hotari scum.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here. That guy was something.
Something about his tone tells me this won't be easy.
That was my sense as well.
I doubt he speaks for all of Hotari. So I would urge patience until we speak with their queen.
Of course they've got a queen, not a king. Because it's modern day Star Trek in a TNG kernel. Ooh. Ah, ee, ooh, ah. Ooh. Nothing happened then while I turned me back.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Illydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
Saying this wouldn't be easy was an understatement. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Cobliard?
She's not
She
part
can
of...
speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? I'll pick the wrong one because I'm an idiot.
Now then, one should know their place. What you might be somewhere else is not what you are here. Which is standing before a queen. And a queen deserves respect. A bow is not too much to ask. is Hotari Prime, heart of the Hotari system.
My name is Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty. I prefer to be called by my name, not my species.
Then I suppose that makes us even. Commander Rydek. You are Kobliad. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elidians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elidians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydek. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Elidians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Elidian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Elidians? Can only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
And you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
If this were proper check, they'd convene aboard the Resolute, wouldn't they?
I hope we meet again, Jara Ryder.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Speak with members of each faction. Okie dokie.
Soothing.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Illidians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
I will keep that in mind.
I assume you were there, the day the mines were seized from the Illidians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there.
I'll have to turn
We
this
had
off
to
soon.
be decisive. Before the Illidians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
Did you have help from someone else?
Hotari stands alone against the Illidian forces. We don't need help from anyone. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Illidians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
I wouldn't say state-of-the-art, but the Resolute is plenty capable and can hold its own against just about anything.
Let's hope so. Because at the moment, it's the only thing preventing them from wiping us off the map.
Sidron.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
If anyone deserves thanks, it's Ambassador Spock. No one is more invested in negotiating a peaceful settlement to this conflict than he is.
I'm so glad. We need his help before the situation escalates further than it already has. It's been very trying. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a miner, not a diplomat.
I said minor, not
First time in
minor.
history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I take it they're against a negotiated peace with the Illidians.
Heroes tend to want more of what made them heroic. If it were up to them, they'd wage all-out war and bring ruin upon us all. My fear has been that the Illidians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Illidians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference. Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist.
What do you think it is?
I've heard rumors it's some sort of ancient artifact, but I haven't seen it myself.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Of course.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality.
It's a bit like a blue Vogue on.
For a supply of dilithium in the future.
Just that
So
spouting
why
poetry.
you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Illidian involvement, there is no dilithium trade.
We are and will remain completely neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution to this conflict.
As is ours. Of course, the question is, at what price? Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Illidian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
So what is what they've found in the mines what's caused the ion storm or anomaly or whatever?
Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself.
You said the Hotari were primitive.
Well, they are.
Except for the part about weaponizing ion storms.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Okay. Where's that then? Where's Captain Solano then? Which way do I go? I've no idea. It's not Where do I go? Oh. What's that?
They seem proud of their culture.
Tell me yourself.
Pride can lead to rash action.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Illidians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
More fruitful than ours. Splendid. Right. What's the pause button?
Gravitation.
We'll do that. We'll use that as the pause button, because it is. Right, I'm going to leave it there for now, because I've got stuff to do. So, thanks Sci-Fi Quest for keeping me company while I go to the final frontier and all that. So, we'll leave it there until next time. So, wherever you are, look after each other, live long and prosper, and all that. And until next time, I'll say the